Who's here?
She's here,
Doris Dear.
It's Doris with a content man. She's the perfect housewife. Rumpus Room might have a man.
Well, maybe.
It's Doris and her dear friends. They live up in the sky. But for the chance to sing and dance, her friends might also buy. It's Doris. It's Doris Dear. She's that girl on the street. She'll show up with a sweet. You'll adore when she knocks on your door. There's her fun. It's Doris Dear's got.
Oh, Lori, I'll talk to you soon, Lori. Bye. Oh, hi, everyone. Doris Dear here, America's perfect housewife. Welcome back to the Rumpus Room. Oh, listen, I was going through some of my books that Taffy, my mom, gave me that, so I could grow up to be the perfect housewife. Well, and today I'm excited because I get to share one of my favorite books that I simply adore. I must say, having a marvelous mother, well, it really is a gift, isn't it? I mean, when you're a young person, you don't really realize how special our moms are. Well, I can tell you, I had the best. She was glamorous and she was super smart. And Taffy passed on many, many things during those wonderful, glamorous suburban days, especially her love of reading. Now, Taffy said that really nothing looked better than your husband coming home and seeing you curled up on the sofa with a good book in your lap. She said Tolstoy was always a good choice. It shows him you know things. Let me tell you something. Taffy didn't need books to show that she was smart. Oh, no. She was very smart, believe me. But let me tell you, Taffy introduced me to this marvelous writer's work that when I was just a young girl and getting ready for a wonderful life ahead. Now, this author has written close to a dozen books and countless magazine articles for Co-Ed magazine. This author really spoke to me back then, and well, still speaks to me today. Along with all the other voices in my head. Doris. But I was hoping to share with you a little something that she penned. Now, the author's name, and I'm sure many here have heard of her name before, is the one and only Gay Head. It's true, darlings. Gay Head. Now, I'm going to read from her bestseller, Party Perfect. Something Taffy surely knew how to do. Oh, now look at that cover, darlings. Aren't those kids having fun? And look at that, a nice relish tray on the bar. Nothing says party like olives and celery. Now, this book is one of my Bibles, and it's chock-a-block, full of marvelous ideas for the kids. But my absolute favorite that I share with you today, and I know you gals out there have been to a few of these, well, it's the ever-popular Pajama Party. Don't you just love those? Now, listen here. Now, Gay says that a party that is boyless is not funless. Now, she says to invite your most congenial girlfriends that are willing and able to come. Very important. And don't worry, there's lots of activities for you to do and like. For example, you could give some nice home permanents, because that always turns out really well. I'm still trying to get the frizz out of this, Tony. Or, well, you could whip up a nice batch of homemade candies, because, well, hot sugar is always a young girl's best friend. Or the popular, and I know the kids are going to love this one, how about doing an all-night study party on Saturday night? Well, they're going to love that. I just wonder what they're studying all those late hours. But listen, don't worry about where all those lovely ladies are going to sleep. Miss Head suggests, well, maybe you pick one or two of your prettiest friends and ask them to share the bed with you. Yes, dears. And where will the rest of the friends sleep? Oh, not to worry. She says just throw down some rubber mats on the floor and make sure you have plenty of soap. You know, I've often wondered why so much soap is needed, but hey, don't question the gay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Party Perfect. Now, I have to tell you a quick story. Come in close. I was doing one of my live shows in the theater when I held the book up and I heard a loud gasp from the back of the audience. Well, afterward, my dear friend John said that he couldn't believe that I had that book. He said that his mother was actually the editor of Co-Ed magazine back in the day, and whoever the editor was, well, they wrote under the pen name of Gay Head. He said his mother actually wrote this book, and she used to read it to him when he was a child. It is such a small world. Now listen, remember, I have all my tips and recipes will be on my website, www.dorisdear.com/Gurl, Gurl-talk. Oh, who could that be?
Hello.
All right, mask off.
Exhale.
So we're safe, so everybody knows we were masked. We took temperatures on the way in,
We sure
and
did.
we did a COVID rapid
We did a
test.
COVID test, and my husband said, I'm not pregnant. Whee! Oh, those days are gone. I'm nice and...
Well, Meg Flather, 5-time Broadway World Award nominee, 2-time Backstage Bistro, 4-time Mag Award winning performer, who has garnered glowing reviews from top New York entertainment publications and websites.
Oh, don't forget the websites.
Welcome to Doris Dear's Girl
Oh,
Talk.
I love it here. I love the Rumpus Room.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, we've been friends a long time.
Yes.
You did my Mother's Day show.
I did
and
your first Christmas show.
my very first Christmas special.
Where I wore that apron with all the reindeers
Well,
on
everyone
it.
should have an apron, I think. Yeah, that was so much fun. We
Oh,
had
it
so
was-
much fun. And
Everything you do is fun.
I remember the Mother's Day show when we sang one of your favorite songs, When Mama Gets Married. When Mama gets married, we'll live in a house.
Oh my God. And then I was
so
correcting all of you all
Yeah,
the time.
that's because Lena and I couldn't learn the lyrics. And we're like, you're singing wrong.
I'm so bossy.
Oh, well, you know, that's all right. Now you're with Doris, honey, watch out. So now we've been friends for quite a while now.
Since I stalked you.
That's right, you stalked me.
I fell in love with Doris at the first Mac Awards where you were the trophy girl, and I could not take my eyes off of you. The stage presence, the magnetism, the beauty.
Oh.
Like the awards were going on, and I was like, who is that? I need to know this person.
I was the trophy girl.
You were the trophy girl.
And they say in Hollywood, when you're the trophy girl at the Academy Awards, then like 2 years later, you're usually winning an award. And I
was
won
there
my first Mac Award 2 years later.
And I was there for that one as well, with
Yeah.
the beautiful long turquoise gown that you wore.
I was gorgeous,
it was
darling,
fabulous.
gorgeous.
And your hair was in an updo, I believe.
Yes, it was my Doris Day look.
It's a Doris Day for Doris Dear. But I stalked you on Facebook and you became my friend.
Yes.
And here we are in the Rumpus Room.
I know, years later.
The world is changing.
It's really changing.
And yet
right?
you're not. That's what's
Oh,
so great
well,
about this. We're
yeah.
back in time where I'd like to be. you
I'll
know?
share my doctor's information later. Now, I've known you a while, but I didn't know that you were born in the Philippines, your parents were in the Peace Corps, and you spent your first 5 years in Micronesia and Malaysia?
Yes.
Like, I had no idea about that. Tell me about that.
It's actually a really huge part of my being. I think it is the reason I am who I am. So my parents were those very good 1950s, waspy New England, the big wedding, had the baby 9 months after the honeymoon, and we're doing that life. And then my dad came home one day and he said, in his Boston accent, Rebecca, we've joined the Peace Corps. You've got to pack up the house, get the kids vaccinated. I'm leaving in a week. You're leaving in a month. And they did it. My mother was all for it.
Wow.
So they were the first Peace Corps directors in Malaysia under Kennedy. And I was a love child because life was grand in the Philippines. Why not have another baby?
Why not?
So they did. And so my first 5 years were overseas. A couple of intermittent return trips, but I really just remember that beautiful tropical life, living on fish and soy sauce and Coca-Cola and rice. I mean, it's amazing the memory.
So you haven't changed a bit.
But I really, those women that raised me shaped me. I mean, I really believe the reason I sing primarily folk rock music is because when my mother would tell them how she wanted me raised, she'd say, now I want her raised American. You keep her in her crib, even if she wants to get out, she has to take her nap. And as soon as my caregivers heard Mom drive away, they put me on their backs,
Wow.
wrapped in a sarong, and they kept me there all day, and they play their music, and they play their guitar, And I swear that went through me and
Oh,
became
yeah.
a part of who I was to
Because
be.
the music goes through your body. I always tell people, like, when you're standing in front of a band, you feel that music in your back. It's like goes into your body. It's like part of your soul.
And
It
that
becomes you.
acoustic guitar.
Oh,
that
yeah.
acoustic guitar spoke to me. These female, rich voices spoke to me. And then the other memory I have is just their beautiful brown hands on my chubby white skin and knowing that that was somehow home. So
Oh,
what was
great.
traumatic for me was when it was over and we were back in Massachusetts and I was just this ordinary white kid. I was exotic there. I was
Right.
ordinary. Yeah. But I think that's why New York will always be my home. I need the diversity.
Well, cheers to diversity.
Yes.
Today we're having my specialty, the Doris Dear Whiskey Sour.
The whiskey sour.
Cheers, darling.
It's so pretty.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, wow.
That's good. Nothing like day drinking.
Oh, my God. Ooh, that I could get used to that. It's a good thing I'm, here for minimal time.
Now, not only are you an amazing singer, songwriter, you do amazing work, you're also an author of The Home Shopping Diva, Lessons, Lyrics, and Lipstick, Meg Flather, and I love the sticker, the Beverly Hills Book Award.
Nominee.
Nominee.
I was nominated for
Oh,
Best
finalist.
Memoir. Finalist.
Yes,
It's a thrill
so-
to be nominated.
And you have a matching CD as well.
Right. Basically, it's my coming of age story that I wrote for. It was inspired by the younger people in my life that thought they were supposed to have their acts together in their 20s. Like, no, you're supposed to go through a lot of stuff. So it's my story about making lemonade out of lemons. It's my story about learning how to take in feedback, recognize teachers, recognize angels, listen to the people saying yes to you, and listen to the people saying no to you. Don't go through the no doors. They don't want you. Go to the yes doors. They want you. So it's all about how this crazy random life of mine happened when I stopped fighting what the universe had in store.
Well, it's interesting. Now, I read like through some of your reviews and stuff, and Meg's book beautifully illustrates that the universe will give us exactly what we need at exactly the right time, and that so sums up how I know you.
Yeah.
I mean, that really.
If we're listening.
If we're listening, you have to listen. But I love it's a Broadway musical in a whole new format. Brava diva indeed. I love. It's so good. I love that. And then Meg Flather should write more books. Well, of course,
Oh.
you know. But now, you said something to me the other day. We were chatting, and you said, C is for COVID and change.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really interesting, because for me, I mean, look, the world is very different, but we have to find the good and the joy in the world. So as terrible as our COVID world is right now, but I think there are ways to find to open your soul to new ways of doing as performers and artists. So tell me, how has COVID how is it influencing your artistry?
You know,
right
it's perfect because it's exactly sort of what I learned coming of age of how to make the lemonade out of the lemons.
By the way, lemonade, a whiskey sour is fortified lemonade. It's lemonade basically with
It's-
whiskey. So
my new favorite
I
lemonade.
know.
Maybe that'll be the next book,
There
making
you go.
lemonade out of lemons. But for me, it's how do I use whatever is in my face to grow myself. Like that's basically, when you get older and you see a lot of people reaching for ambition and success, and you go, well, okay, that's all very well and good, but how do I want to be remembered? And I want to be remembered as the woman that was constantly working on herself. That's all. When you sing at my funeral at Don't Tell Mama in the back room, you're going to say Meg Flather's wish was to grow herself, and hopefully you'll say she did. So to
Absolutely.
me, I wasn't surprised that something like COVID was coming. And to me, it's about going inside, literally inside. So I'm up against myself, but it's good. Like everywhere you go, there you are. You're up against your procrastination. You're up against your melancholy. You're up against fear and anxiety. But I've been using this time to kind of buck up, like practice. I've been using it as a time of self-discipline, of self-study, of writing, of practicing, of exercising, but it's also managing the melancholy and not being afraid of it, like not being afraid of the feelings you meet.
Right, and you said not running away from ourselves. And I think that's how we're going to close this up, by
Yes.
not running away from ourselves. Meg, thank you so much for
love
being
you,
here.
Doris Dear.
Don't forget, it's Meg Flather. It's the Home Shopping Diva, Lessons, Lyrics, and Lipstick by the Meg Flather. And of course, you have amazing music on iTunes. You
Yes.
have how many? Do you have several
I
albums?
have 7 albums, and I'm on my way to the 8th, and 2 new singles written inside. So you'll see them out there in the
That's great. And you're performing all around in New York. Don't Tell Mama and other. And you have some great shows and great concerts. Thank you so much.
I'm
it's so good to see you. Cheers,
you.
darling.
Ooh, another sip of the lemonade.
Yes. Here's to friendship and love.
Here's to you, beautiful lady.
Oh, cheers. Oh, hi! Welcome to the Bar Cart. Now, this is one of the most popular places in the Rumpus Room, you know. I love whipping up a good, yummy cocktail for my guests. And today, we enjoyed a Marvy Whiskey Sour, one of my most favorite drinks. Now, did you know that whiskey has 2 spelling variations? Yeah. And that depends on where the whiskey is distilled. Now, whiskey with no E refers to Scottish, Canadian, or Japanese grain spirits. Whiskey with an EY refers to grain spirits distilled in Ireland and the United States. So today we're using whiskey with a Y, namely Dewar's, which is a blended Scotch whiskey from Scotland. And it's what Taffy and Duke used as well. So are we. Now, there are many variations of the whiskey sour. A little egg white on top becomes a Boston sour. A dash of red wine on top, a New York sour. But all in all, well, it's really just, well, as my go-to cocktail Bible, the Esquire drink book says, a fortified lemonade. Makes sense. It's basically a mixture of sugar and lemon juice mixed with some, well, good booze. Now, the recipe in the book, well, it uses granulated sugar, but honey, it's a new century, darlings, so I created my Doris Dear variation. Okay, now, you fill your shaker up with ice and add the ingredients. Let's see, we need fresh lemon juice, about 3/4 of an ounce. 3/4 of an ounce simple syrup. Now, I have to tell you, I like to make my own simple syrup. It's so simple, thus the name. It's a combination of 2 parts sugar and 1 part water. You mix that in a pot, you boil it to dissolve the sugar, and you let it cool. Then you put it in a nice little bottle in your refrigerator, and you can make all sorts of variations of syrups using different types of sugars. For this recipe, I decided to use Demerara sugar. Now, Demerara sugar, now that's a whole mouthful, has a large grain and a slight toffee flavor, which I love in my cocktails. Now, we add 2 ounces of Dewar's, maybe 3 if you want. And I know, it's a Scotch whiskey, meaning whiskey from Scotland. But look, it's what Taffy and Duke used, and well, we're using it too. So now we're just gonna shake this up and do our COVID workout. Gets me a little excited. And we're gonna strain that over a nice glass filled with ice. It looks so good already. And we're gonna add an orange slice with 2, aren't I decadent, maraschino cherries. So cheers. My gosh, that is so yummy. Well, I hope you enjoyed your stay in the Rumpus Room today. And I love when friends drop by and we share some ideas and bring some joy to the world. I'll sing in my real show someday, don't worry. Now don't forget, head over to www.dorisdear.com/girl-talk for all the recipes and hints from today's show. And I hope you'll drop by the Rumpus Room again for more of Doris Dear's Girl Talk. I know, enough already. Stay safe, hugs and love from Doris Dear, and remember, a dress doesn't get you anywhere. It's the life you live in the dress that matters. See you soon. Cheers. It takes me back to Taffy and Duke.